everyone! So today I'm here to review the newest collection from MAC, a Rocky Horror Picture Show. The collection released on September 30th online as well as October 2nd in stores. The collection featured 21 pieces ranging from eye products to face products to lip products to nail lacquers. The collection does feature special edition packaging, so there is going to be a slight price increase on some of the products. So here's what I picked up from the collection, and please note that I did own some of the permanent products previous to this, so hence the regular packaging in some of the photos. The lipsticks retail for $17.50 US, 21 in Canada, they are 0.10 ounces and they are limited edition. Frank-N-Furter is described as a deep raspberry wine with a matte finish. Oblivion is described as a vivid blush red with an amplified finish. And Sin is described as a deep dark blue red with a matte finish. Sin is also a permanent shade. Frank-N-Furter is a medium to dark red with cool undertones and a matte finish. The formula was creamy, opaque, pigmented, smooth, and applied evenly. This shade wore well and it wasn't drying on my lips, and it lasted 6 hours before fading and left behind a faint stain. Oblivion is a medium bright red with neutral undertones and a creamy, luminous finish. The formula was very creamy, mostly opaque, pigmented, smooth, and applied easily. While this lipstick did seem to skip in some areas, it was only really noticeable up close. This shade was lightly hydrating and very comfortable when worn, and it lasted 6 hours before fading. Sin is a dark, deepened burgundy with cool undertones and a matte finish. The formula has a mostly opaque yet buildable coverage, and the texture is on the stiffer, drier side, which can make application a little more difficult. When applied straight from the tube, this lipstick does lightly tug and pull at your lips when applying, which can create a jagged edge. So this particular shade would benefit best by pairing a lip liner underneath for a more even, fully opaque coverage. Sin lasted 7 hours before fading. There is one blush in the collection. Crazed Imagination is described as a muted plum with a hint of pink pearl and a frost finish. The blush retailed for $24 US, $28.50 in Canada. It is 0.21 ounces and it is limited edition. Crazed Imagination is a medium to dark plum brown with neutral undertones and a subtle frosted finish. This blush had decent pigmentation and it was buildable, but the texture is more on the dry side, making it more difficult to apply this blush evenly and smoothly on the skin. But once this blush was applied to the skin, it wore well and it lasted 7 hours before fading around the edges. The collection featured one pigment. It's Not Easy Having a Good Time is described as a sparkling burgundy. It retails for $23 US, $27.50 in Canada. It is 0.15 ounces and it is limited edition. It's Not Easy Having a Good Time is a medium to dark burgundy copper shift with warm undertones and a frosted metallic finish. Although the texture is chunkier than most pigments, it breaks down easily and applies smoothly on the skin. When used dry, it's more powdery and it's mostly opaque. But when used wet, this pigment is fully opaque, vibrant, and had a much stronger frosted metallic finish. Both ways of applying this, whether using it dry or wet, it lasted 10 hours before slightly fading. I picked up one of the two glitters. 3D Black is described as a black with holographic effect. The glitters retail for $23 US, $27.50 in Canada. They're 0.15 ounces and they're available in the Pro line. 3D Black is a black glitter with holographic glitter mixed in, and the holographic effect is very noticeable and just incredible in real life. Luckily, the quality of cosmetic glitters doesn't vary that much, so there's not really much else to say about it rather than the effect that it gives is very, very beautiful. The Chromagraphic pencils retailed for $16 US, $19 in Canada. They're 0.04 ounces and again they're part of the Pro range. Basic Red is described as a primary red, and Black Black is described as a black. Basic Red is a medium red with hints of orange and a satin finish. The formula is richly pigmented, fully opaque in a single swipe, and glided on smoothly and evenly. The Chromagraphic pencils have a slight creamy consistency to them, which prevents the liner from tugging or pulling at the skin when you're applying the product. Basic Red wore well alone on the lips for 7 hours before fading and left behind a slight stain. Please keep in mind that this pencil cannot be used in the immediate eye area. Black Black is an intense blackest black with a satin finish. The nicest part about the Chromagraphic pencils is that they're consistent in quality and the way that they perform. So everything that I said about Basic Red also applies for Black Black. It's one of my favorite black eyeliners and it lasted 12 hours on my lash line and 5 hours on my waterline before fading. And again, please note that Black Black cannot be used in the lip area. The Sculpt and Shape Powder Duo in the collection retails for $27.50 US, $33 in Canada. It is 0.37 ounces, and the duo itself is limited edition, but the shades are sold separately in the Pro range. Bone Beige and Emphasize is described as a palest cream and tan. Bone Beige is a light to medium neutral brown with warm undertones and a matte finish. The texture is soft, smooth, pigmented, and buildable. This shade is definitely best suited for fair to medium skin tones, since it applies so lightly in both the pigmentation and how much you can build the product. Bone Beige lasted 8.5 hours before fading. Emphasize is a light pale cream with very fine champagne shimmer and a subtle satin finish. The texture is soft, smooth, finely milled, and leaves the skin looking brightened and lightly luminous, without enhancing imperfections or enlarging the look of pores. Again, this duo would work best for fair to medium skin tones since it's such a light shade. Emphasize lasted 7.5 hours before faintly fading. The set powder in the collection retails for $35 US, $40 in Canada. It is 1.1 ounces, and it is a permanent product. Invisible is described as a loose powder that effectively stabilizes and fixes makeup. There's not really much to review about a setting powder, but Invisible is a weightless, finely milled, mattifying, translucent powder meant for setting makeup, absorbing oils, and smoothing the appearance of fine lines or imperfections on the skin. With this specific setting powder, I found that you do have to be a bit more careful when applying, because even though it's invisible and translucent, if you go in with too heavy of a hand, your skin can be left looking a little pale. So just watch out for that if you do decide to pick up the setting powder. So overall, this was a well-rounded collection, and it had a lot of people crazy excited, even for those who aren't an overly huge fan of the classic cult film. The MAC Rocky Horror Picture Show collection is available from maccosmetics.com as well as in MAC stores for a limited time. Please let me know in the comments below if you've picked anything up from the collection or if any of the products have caught your eye. As always, don't forget to check out my blog for more details, photos, and swatches, as well as like, comment, and subscribe to show your support. As I always say, I hope you found this review helpful, and I hope that you have a fantastic day, and thank you so much for watching.